everyone, welcome back to a new video. Today I'm going to be making some paper art characters to practice for an upcoming animation project, and I'm going to be copying SamDoesArt's characters because he has really pretty ones and I just wanted to copy him. If you don't know who SamDoesArt is, he is a big YouTuber who has an art channel and he has really pretty character designs, so I wanted to copy him. You should check out his YouTube and Instagram, but let's just get into it. I chose 3 characters from his Instagram. One is this queen looking character, one is a soldier, knight in shining armor character, and then one is just a normal girl. So the first character I'm copying is this princess looking character, or queen. She has a crown and she looks really regal, so I assume she's a princess of some sorts. And to not fully copy, I try to redraw her myself just so I don't trace and get some practice in drawing people, because I want to make some big animation projects with human characters and I thought it would be really necessary to practice making people out of paper, so when I animate I can actually, make characters and have it look good. So this is basically practice. So the way I'm planning on making these characters is similar to how I would make a light box, but also quite different. Basically, I want to create shading by layering up cardstock and other papers to create the shadows and highlights, just like a normal light box, but I'm not going to have spacers and I'm not going to cut lines into anything because I think it would be too distracting. I'm cutting out the silhouette of the character out of cardstock. Then I'm going to cut out the shape of the hair with another piece of cardstock, glue it on, and then shading of the hair in another layer, glue that on, and so on and so forth until I like how things look. I wanted their eyes to draw your attention, so I used some really thick shading to create some eyelashes and almost like eyeliner to really draw your attention to the eyes. I cut out the eye to make it lighter, like a normal eye is white, so I thought that would work. I used different thicknesses of paper for different shading, like for the hair and the clothes, I just used cardstock and layered it as many times as I needed for shading. But then for the skin shading, I had to use some thinner paper so it wouldn't look really dark and drastic. I wanted the crown on this character to really stand out, so I cut that out with my knife and just covered it with really light tracing paper so it would almost glow, and I think that looked really pretty. Overall, I really enjoyed this process so much. These characters were so fun to make and I just was so excited about this whole thing. And I kind of just figured it out as I went. I didn't really know what I was doing. This was a first attempt, so I think it actually turned out really nice. I was a little bit skeptical about how it would turn out because, like I said, I was winging it, and there were many times in this process where it kind of looked weird, but I just had to trust it and I kept going, and I think they ended up looking really nice. After I finished the first one, I got really excited, so I decided to make this soldier character next. I wanted to try with this one to make the skin even lighter. So instead of using cardstock for my first layer of skin, I used sketching paper. And sketching paper is thinner than cardstock, so it will show up lighter. So I just tried it out and I think it looked pretty good. She looks a lot paler than the other one, since in the original photo she's a redhead, so I just feel like redheads are pale, so I try to make her paler, and it was fun to experiment with it. I also wanted to make her armor dark, so this took lots of layering. I cut out every highlight that I could find in the original picture, and the hair I kept lighter too. I didn't shade it as much, and just overall this was a lot brighter and lighter. So I experimented with some more shading on the face, but since I used sketching paper, the only thing I could shade with was more sketching paper because everything else would just look really drastic against the really thin skin. So I had to use really light shading, so that was a little tricky, but I think I managed to make it work. And I wanted to experiment a bit with the placement of the shading because on the first one, I just did a very little shading under the neck, but I was scared that if I added too much, it would look weird. But on this one, I added it onto the eyes, under the nose, the lips, everywhere, and it was really subtle, but I think it looked really good. And just a quick reminder, if you're enjoying this video, then please consider subscribing. It would mean a lot. I also really like the expression on this one. I've never really drawn people before, so this is kind of a fun little challenge for that as well. And I'm just so happy with how these turned out. I think they look beautiful, especially at the end with all the pretty lights. And I can just imagine a whole film or animation with these characters in a light box scene. And I'm just like, ah, I want to make it happen so bad. So this definitely gave me a confidence boost that I could make more animations later. And yeah. And speaking of animations, I actually made one before and I was really happy with how it looked. And if you want to see that video, I'll have it linked down below. And then last but not least, I'm working on this third one. I got really excited while I was doing these, so I forgot to record most of this character. But in this one, I kind of wanted to focus on trying to make light hair compared to the skin. So I used the same single sheet of cardstock for the skin, but I used tracing paper for the hair, and it made the skin look a lot darker. So that was really interesting, but I struggled a little bit with how the hair will look. But overall, this one wasn't too difficult. And in the original, the face is kind of half shaded, so I wanted to try that. I took some creative liberties because the hair looked really weird in the original, so I changed it, but I think it looks good still. The necklace was really fun to make on this character. I loved cutting out the jewelry and just making it really light and bright, and I think in the end it really sticks out, and the earring as well. So that was lots of fun, and I just made the necklace with some highlights and glued it in place. And here are all three of them together, and they look really great. They don't look super magical or amazing just like this, but when you hold them up to the light, they look great. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy. And that's basically it. These are just practice. They're not going to be a part of a bigger project, but I'm really happy with how they look. I didn't think they would look this good. I'm in love with these paper people, and I'm just so excited for future projects where I can incorporate them. I put them behind some different colored lights. So yeah, that was it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. If you would like to see more, please consider subscribing. I also have other Lightbox videos, so go check them out. And I'll see you next time. Bye!